Hey guys, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is here, so for those of you who haven't played any of the previous games and don't want to because they're way too long, but still want to know what's going on, here's a recap covering the last decade of Assassin's Creed. First off, obviously there's spoilers, and secondly, this will not cover any spin-off games or anything beyond the main series. Okay, let's begin. The story begins with a bartender named Desmond Miles, who wakes up in a room of a corporation called Abstergo Industries. In front of him is Warren Vidic, the head of the corporation, and Lucy Stillman, his assistant. They tell him he's from an important lineage, and that this thing called the Animus will allow him to revisit his ancestors' memories so they can retrieve whatever important information that they need, which is unclear at this point. It turns out that Desmond's ancestors are from a long line of assassins who are constantly at war with their rivals, the Templars. So Desmond's first trip is to the 12th century in the Middle East. There he learns about the life of Altair ibn al-Ahad, and also learns all the skills from him too, like he will with the other assassins when you play as them. Altair is told by his mentor Al-Mualim that there are 9 Templars that he needs to kill in order for him to redeem himself after disobeying the assassin code. He kills one at a time, and by the end of the game, you learn that the Templars want the pieces of Eden to control free will, and the assassins are obviously against that. You also learn that Al-Mualim is actually another Templar leader, and so he kills him and frees anyone under his control. But that's not where it ends. It also turns out that Warren is also a traitor, and Abstergo is actually the modern-day version of the Templars. So not only was Altair tricked, but so was Desmond. Twice. Lucy then tells Desmond about his cool new powers, the eagle vision that all assassins have. He uses it to decode messages from the previous 16 Abstergo subjects, and finds out that 2012, the year this game, as well as the next few games, are set in, is the year of Doomsday. Or at least it will be if they don't stop the Templars from reaching their goal. So Lucy and Desmond escape Abstergo, meet with their new friends Sean and Rebecca. There he uses the new Animus 2.0, so the assassins will now be a step ahead. This time Desmond goes to 15th century Italy and lives the life of Ezio Auditore da Firenze, who basically starts out as Prince Caspian. Ezio has a great life, and is someone who loves his family very much. Everything is going great until he is sent to deliver a letter which his dad told him to deliver to a friend. When he makes it back, he witnesses the public execution of his father and both his brothers. Angered, he wants revenge and wants to know why this happened. He finds out that his father was actually in the Assassin's Order, and the people who murdered them were people linked with the Borgias. This makes him take up the mantle and become a Jedi Knight, assassin, just like his father before him. He enlists the help of Niccolo Machiavelli, his uncle Mario, and Leonardo Leonardo da Vinci. After killing them all like in the first game, and acquiring the Apple of Eden, you get to the main boss fight, which is against Rodrigo Borgia. Of course, he has another piece of Eden, the Staff of Eden. And once Ezio beats him, he puts both the pieces together. This opens up some sort of vault, and when Ezio enters, a recording is played in front of him by a woman named Minerva, who was from the first civilization. Somehow their species was wiped out, and so she warns not Ezio, but Desmond, about history repeating itself. Because of this, it confuses Ezio, and when he asks who Desmond is, he gets no answer.
Who's Desmond?
Before uncovering any more secrets, everyone needs to make a move, and cannot stay in their current headquarters, so they move to Ezio's old home in Monterigoni. Cesare, Rodrigo's son, attacks the assassins and the place that they're staying in, while now being in control of the apple. But before Ezio successfully escapes, he watches Mario die in front of him, and because of the strong Templar forces, Ezio needs to rebuild the Brotherhood from the bottom up and strengthen it, with the help of his remaining assassin friends, and the help of his sister Claudia, who also becomes an assassin. Basically, you just tell random strangers who owe you their lives that
the liberation of Roma has begun.
Once you kill certain members involved, the Borgias play Family Feud, and Cheesecake is eventually arrested for forcing his hand over Rome, which gives Ezio the apple back, where he then hides it in the Colosseum, where Desmond figures out it's hidden. As soon as Desmond gets his hands on the apple, he gets possessed by Minerva to kill the woman he loves, Lucy Stillman, who turns out to be a damn Templar anyway, and cut to black. What, did you think this was over? We still have like 7 more games to cover, so let's do it. Upon waking up, Desmond sees an older man coming towards him. It's his father, William Miles, and he's working with Sean and Rebecca. They send him back into the Animus, and there he meets the long-awaited Subject 16. He tells him to revisit Altair and Ezio once again, but this time they're both really old. Ezio travels to Constantinople in search of the Masyaf keys that Altair had hidden. After each key he finds, he himself revisits those memories as if he has his own Animus. There, both Ezio and Desmond learn about what Altair was doing at his old age. Altair is betrayed by his longtime friend Abbas, who kills his wife and son. Altair chases him like a game of cat and mouse, and he uses the apple as a gun to shoot Abbas. Later, Ezio and Desmond find Altair's final resting place. The lair he is in is similar to the one at the end of Assassin's Creed 2, and when he hears the name Desmond, he remembers him, and he actually speaks with him almost face to face. The three ancient beings, Jupiter, Minerva, and Juno, warn them once again of the fate of the world and what will happen by December 21st, 2012. But in order to save the world before its destruction from a solar flare, Desmond and his team have to go to another vault somewhere in America that hides the eye, which sort of is an anti-doomsday device, or at least was meant to be. When Desmond makes it into the vault and then goes back to the Animus, he goes back to the 17th century. He watches Haytham Kenway's life start to unfold, and he has to assassinate certain people. Meanwhile, he falls in love with a native woman, they conceive a child, and he kind of forgets about her because guess what? He's a goddamn Templar too! So then after that, we go to the life of Connor Kenway, Haytham's son. And basically we watch his dad's Templar friends burn down his village, and he watches his mom die, and then when he grows up and seeks revenge like so many others, he meets an old man named Achilles. Achilles is an old retired assassin who mentors Connor. Once trained enough, Connor sets out to kill his daddy's friends one by one, like every other assassin ever, and then after killing his dad, he kills this guy right here, Charles Lee. Oh, and Achilles dies too, from old age, I guess. When that's said and done, Desmond finds the key to get the eye up and running, and is ready to save the world. But before he can do that, Minerva turns up and tells him about Juno's secret evil plan. She rigged the eye so that it would unleash her into a digital space where she could control the planet. Basically, she's still bitter about her husband's death. So Desmond is confronted with a choice, either let civilization start over, or save humanity but also enslave them. He chooses to enslave them, and then just dies. And cut. Nope, it's still not over yet. We've only gotten halfway. Oh, and by the way, there are a lot of cut to blacks. Anyway, let's get back into it. Now that Desmond is dead, now it's your turn to relive his ancestors' memories. They were finally able to do this now because Abstergo got a hold of Desmond's remains, and they're using his DNA to power the new system. So you're told that you're researching for a game, but we all know Abstergo's real goal. But anyway, this time you're Jack Sparrow. I mean, Edward Kenway, Haytham's father.
What?
Yeah, seriously, he doesn't drink all that much, and he doesn't even disrespect women. So Edward, the pirate wannabe, he left his wife because he loved his life so much, gets shipwrecked and kills a dirty assassin, who's kind of like a dirty cop, and then steals his attire. Kenway runs around, or sails around rather, the Caribbean posing as an assassin with his new crew and ship, the Jackdaw, while being a pirate, sort of, until his friend James Kidd, who turns out to be a woman named Mary, tries to convince him to join the Assassin's Order for real, since he's basically got the skills and the heart anyway. Instead of convincing him, however, it convinces Edward's quartermaster Adewale. Some of his pirate friends like Charles Vane and Bartholomew Roberts end up betraying him, and it is only until after the death of Mary he decides to join the Assassin Order himself, as well as continue to be a pirate, but not before Anne Bonny, another pirate woman, sings a song while he imagines all his lost brethren sitting with him, and is reunited with his daughter and lives a life happily ever after as far as we see in these games. In between the game, whenever you need to leave the Animus, the guy tells you to snoop around and do certain tasks he asks you to do. It turns out that guy is actually the reincarnation of Roberts, and a reincarnation of Juno's dead husband, who was cursed to keep coming back to life to achieve their goal, which is to get Juno a new physical body. But even through your efforts, they fail because John, or Roberts, or dead husband, or whatever you want to call him, gets shot by Abstergo agents, and Juno is not yet strong enough to take a physical form. Now that you're done with Edward, you continue on with Shay, an assassin turned a goddamn Templar. What's with all these Templars? This time, it's set in between the time of Edward and Connor. They try to paint a picture that Templars aren't so bad, and they have you rooting for them for the whole game because the assassins are basically the Jedi Order. By the end of it, Shay kills a bunch of his old friends, like his best friend Liam. But then he convinces Haytham to keep Achilles alive, to live to tell the tale. Years after even Connor's story, Shay goes to Versailles and murders a man named Charles Dorian, the father of the next assassin you play as. But before you do that, you get called to the head office and are offered to become a Templar, but you refuse and get shot. Arnaud Dorian, the next assassin I mentioned, is playing with his new friend Elise Delaserre at a party in Versailles. There Charles gets killed, and when everyone finally notices, it draws the attention of Arnaud himself. Francois Delaserre, Elise's father, then adopts him, and years later, as an adult, Arnaud is framed for his murder. By the way, both Elise and her father are goddamn Templars. Oh my god. I mean, honestly, what's with that? So anyway, he's framed with the murder, which took place because he was starting to diverge from the Templar code, and then Arnaud gets put in prison, gets mentored by a drunken assassin named Bellic, who calls you piss pot, and you kill him later because he betrays you, and then becomes an assassin seeking revenge again. Meanwhile, there's inner politics going on with the Assassin Order, and they don't know if they can trust him because he's ruthless, and eventually strips away his status as an assassin. Because of this, he becomes a drunken fool too, until his lover Elise picks him up, dusts him off, and gets him back onto his feet. Yes, even though she's a Templar, she's good because they have a common goal, taking down those who kill Francois, and because they're in love. Francois, no, not that one, this one, Francois Germain, was the main one responsible for Delasaire's death, and is the Grand Master of the Templar Order, so he's the boss fight, which is kind of similar to the one in Brotherhood, except Elise doesn't really help till she sacrifices herself to save Arno. Arno then kills Germain, but before he does, it takes them into another realm, like it usually does whenever you kill a main target, and then finally it explains that it's due to some connection from the Father of Understanding. After this, Arno is reinstated into the Order and becomes a Master Assassin like Ezio, Altair, Connor, and all those assassins before him. Finally, you wake up in London 2015. You survived the gunshot, and now you're in the safe hands of Team Sean and Rebecca. They tell you to go back to the Industrial Revolution, where you meet Jacob and Evie Fry, twin assassins. The two 20-year-olds go around London doing what they would usually do as assassins, but this time, aside from just hunting down Templars like Crawford Derrick, they also ride the rails, clear areas of opposing gangs, recruit more members into the gang called the Rooks, and help orphan children. The twins enlist the help of an Indian assassin named Henry Green, who Evie falls in love with, Alexander Graham Bell, and Charles Dickens. Actually, you help him. Evie finds a map in Edward Kenway's old mansion to find another piece of Eden, the Shroud of Eden. It can slow aging, heal injuries, and grants immortality. Also, at some point, we experience glitches because of Juno. At the end, they have a fist fight with Derrick and kill him. After they get knighted by Queen Victoria, in modern day, the team gets into a fight with Abstergo agents and try to stop them from taking the Shroud, but fail. And in the process, Rebecca gets shot, and is unknown so far what's happened to her. After that, we see agents discussing the creation of clones, and creating a precursor from scratch using the Shroud. Juno then thanks one of the agents who was secretly plotting against Abstergo for their service. Now, finally in 2017, Layla Hassan, a researcher for Abstergo, goes to Egypt and goes to the Tomb of Amunet to hopefully recover an artifact that they were looking for. But instead, Layla decides to visit the memories of assassins Bayek of Siwa and his wife and fellow assassin, Aya, to see what she can find out. Layla's friend Diana, who accompanied her, was against Layla moving forward without letting her supervisors know first. Bayek of Siwa is a Magi, which is kind of like a police officer of the time, and who's happily teaching his son Khemu life lessons, and when suddenly, Khemu gets abducted by 5 masked men, who then also abduct Bayek too. They want him to open the door to a vault using a golden ball which looks like the apple. When they left temporarily, the two came up with a plan to kill those men. It didn't go according to plan, and instead of Bayek killing one of those men he intended, and ended up going straight into Khemu's chest. It's been a year now, and Bayek has been out for revenge. He and his wife Aya tracked down each of those 5 men. One of those men was found because Aya got the help of Cleopatra. After killing those 5, they realize that there's more in the Order, and so Cleopatra sends Bayek to kill those who remain, as they want to overthrow her, while Aya creates an alliance between Cleopatra and Pompey the Great. By the way, you find out that the snake doesn't refer to one person, but all the members of the Order. The Animus sessions are interrupted when Abstergo agents begin to attack, since they had not reported back, and this leads to the death of Diana. But in order to avenge her, Layla goes back into the Animus and needs to learn whatever she can. As Bayek is hunting down the rest, he and Aya help Cleopatra ally herself with Julius Caesar. After they seem victorious, it turns out that Cleopatra and Caesar Salad were working together with the snake the whole time. Goddamn, almost Templars. After they track down whoever is involved, and Bayek goes to the vault to kill Flavius, aka the Lion, who is the leader of the snake, and Caesar's lieutenant commander, who is holding the Apple of Eden. Killing him finally avenged Khemu. Later, they recruit a few other people into their cause. Then they finally kill Caesar and Cleopatra's advisor, Septimus. When Bayek talks to Aya about parting ways, he dropped the eagle skull into the sand, which created the assassin emblem, signifying the birth of the Brotherhood. Aya then goes on to become Amunet, and is the first notable assassin for being the one who assassinates Cleopatra. When Layla wakes up, she sees William Miles sitting in front of her, and he offers that she join the Brotherhood, and from there, they then travel to Alexandria. So now you're set for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Also, I apologized if I had missed anything, and before you go, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know which Assassin's Creed game is your favorite. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.